All right, in this video, we're going to start regression analysis. We begin with a sample linear regression model. Sample meaning we're going to use a subset of the larger population to do inferential statistics. In essence, we're going to collect a sample in order to understand the larger population. And when I say understand in terms of regression, we're going to create a relationship between variables. We're going to have a dependent variable, which is known as the y variable, and we're going to have an independent variable, which is known as the x variable. Okay? And the regression analysis is going to allow us to correlate the independent variable with the dependent variable. In other words, we'll be able to understand the variation in the independent variable and how that explains the variation in the dependent variable. For example, here we've got some data. Okay? We've got housing prices and we have square feet. Well, housing prices will be our y dependent variable because that's the variable that we're going to want to explain in our data. Square feet will be our independent variable, x variable, because that's the data that will help explain prices. Notice that the y variable is the dependent variable because it depends on the square feet, the independent variable. Y is explained by x. So sometimes we'll actually call the x variable the explanatory variable. Regardless, we have some simple hypothetical data here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this data and we're going to correlate it in a linear form. And that's going to use this equation. The equation is going to be our y variable, house prices, will be equal to an intercept plus a beta coefficient times our value for x. Notice on the right-hand side of this equation, we have the x variable, the independent variable, and on the left, we have the y variable, the dependent variable, because variation in x is going to, through this formula, explain variation in y. And that's what a sample linear regression model does, is it uses a sample to create a linear relationship between variables. A better way to illustrate this is with a graph. And we've constructed mini graphs in this class now, so there's nothing new. But let's do this with Excel. And let's create a scatter plot. Okay, I'm essentially going to replicate this in Excel. I've already put my data in Excel here. Okay? And what I want to do now is scroll over my data. I'm just going to scroll over the data, not the titles. Okay? And I'm going to go up here to Insert. Let's go and find the proper chart. And we want the scatter. Okay, so let's scatter. Now, the first thing you're going to notice is that our horizontal axis appears to be home prices, and our vertical axis appears to be square feet. But that's a problem because by tradition, we put the y variable on the vertical axis and the x variable on the horizontal. So this is inverted. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my data. Let me get rid of this. And I'm going to go ahead and put these in the opposite order because Excel is reading them. Delete this. Now notice I have my independent variable in the first column and then my dependent variable in the next column. Now if I scroll over the data, go up here, Insert. Now I've got my square feet on the horizontal and I've got the prices on the vertical. Okay. Now, I like to clean this up a little bit. Darker is better. Let's go ahead and give it a title, all right? Okay. And the next step is to correlate them. Now, before I do that, let's go back to our data here and notice that this square feet and housing prices here. And we've got the data, but we also in our graph have a correlation line here, what we call a trend line. So we're going to put that into our Excel. And to do that, you're just going to right click on one of the data points. You're going to put add trend line. Okay. And if you do that, it gives you all these options here. But let's go ahead and just take a look at that. So you'll notice that this mirrors what we have in the graph. Same thing. And we can verify that by putting some data in there. So if we go back and click on the trend line, okay, I'm going to go to Format Trend Line, and then the same thing pops up. I want to put Display Equation on Chart. Okay, now I've got this equation. Let me make this a little bigger. Maybe bold it there. Okay. So it tells us that y is equal to 0.1098 times x plus 98.248. Take a look at our data here. We have price, y, is equal to 98.248 plus 0.1098 times x square feet. And that's exactly the same as what we got here. Now, Excel puts the intercept on the right, whereas in our data here we put it on the left. Regardless, we can now illustrate our formula in the graph. So the intercept would be the value of y where x equals 0, which is 98.248. That's our starting point for our trend line. And then the beta 1 coefficient is the slope, right? 0.1098, which means for every 1 unit increase in square feet, this line moves up by 0.1098. So all you've done here is taken these data points, found a best fitting line, and then created the mathematical formula for that line to understand how housing prices move with square feet. Okay, simple as that. Once we have this line, we can use it to predict the home price based on square feet. And to do this, let's go back to Excel, and I'm going to create another column. I'm going to put predicted y. Okay. And remember, y is our square feet. Let me just clarify this by putting here. Y is our housing price. Okay. And in fact, let's go ahead and put, just helps us keep in mind what we're doing. X is square feet. All right, so we want to find a predicted y, and to do that, we're going to take our formula here and plug it in here. We're going to put equals 98.248, and that's going to be plus 0.1098 times our square feet. Okay. Enter. Now I'm going to go ahead and round this, and then let's go ahead and drag this down. Okay, so what this tells us is based on this formula here, we would expect a 1,400 square foot home, we predict that it would sell for $252,000. But the actual sale price of that home was $245,000. We would expect a 2,350 square foot home to sell for $356,000, but it actually sold for $405,000. What you're doing with each of these predicted values is finding a point on the trend line, right? Square feet is on your horizontal axis, and these values would be on your trend line. So for example, 1,400 and 252. Well, 1,400 is right here, and 252 would be on this trend line, which is slightly higher than the actual value there, right? Because it was 245, but 252 would be our trend line. And you can do that for any other square foot. Notice that we have a solid portion of the trend line here, indicating we actually have data to create this portion of the trend line. This becomes the most meaningful portion. However, in some instances, we may do what's called extrapolation and extend this line out either to the right here or to the left. Now, because there's no square footage data supporting this portion of our trend line or supporting this portion of our trend line, we're said to be extrapolating. It may be useful, but we certainly don't have the same confidence in extrapolation that we would with the portion of the line that we have data to actually support. Okay, with that in mind, let's now talk about the mathematics that underlie regression. And for this, I want to refer to a new formula. So it says here we have the sum of squared totals, SST, and that will be equal to the sum of squared regression, SSR, plus the sum of squared errors, or residual, SSE. So this plus this equals this. Let's break each of these down into the mathematical calculations. So the sum of squared total is going to be calculated by taking each of our y values. So in our data set, it would be each of these each of these housing prices, right? And finding out how far each one lies from the average price. And then taking that, each one, and squaring it and summing them, okay? Now, before we do this in Excel, take a look at what this would mean graphically. We have square footage on our horizontal, we have price on our vertical, and we have a data point here, okay? Whatever price that is and square footage combination. What we're doing with the sum of squared total is we're taking that data point, which would be y, and we're subtracting from it the average y, which would be the average price. And that's represented by y bar here. And it's the same no matter what the square footage is, right? So it's a horizontal line because the average is the same for the entire data set. So we're taking this value and finding out how far it lies from this average value. And that's why we have the bar here to show. And then we square that and we add it to another data point. Maybe there's another data point, let's say over here. And we would take that data point, find out how far it lies from the average, and square it. And then add it to another data point and how far it lies from the average, and square it. And we do that to acquire the sum of squared totals. Okay, let's actually do it in Excel. So in order to get the sum of squared totals, we're going to need to compare our housing prices, our actual y values, to the average. But we don't have the average here. So let's put it in here. Let's go ahead and create a line down here. Okay. And we know we can use the function here for average. And we'll just scroll over our housing prices here. Okay. And we get 286.5. 286. So the average price of a home is 286,500. Okay. And the next step is to find how far each of these values lies from that, okay? Which is essentially saying this formula here. So I'm going to create another column here. I'm going to put sum of squared total. Okay? And for the sum of squared total, I need to have a formula, put equals our actual housing price minus our average price. Okay. Now, because I'm going to drag this down, of course, I'm going to need to lock this cell. Okay. And understand that this number here, 41.5 negative, means that this particular housing price is 41.5 below the average. But recall that I need to square these values, right? So 245 minus 286, that's the difference, but I need to square that. So I'm then going to take this and I'm going to square it. Put this in brackets so it works. And square it. Okay. And then drag this down. Okay. I'll pick up here in the next video. Thanks.